Hi, we're with Emmy the Great, and you're watching the Undercurrent. What made you choose to take the Pledge music route?
Lots of different reasons. One, it was kind of like a gamble, you know, why not? Two, my publishing company who funded our last album had been bought by a bigger company, and we would have had to wait at least 3 or 4 months before we could get the funding for this album. And we were ready to record in the summer. And also, I was having a mental breakdown, and I would have said yes to anything. I'm really glad I did. And also, part of my big existential crisis was I really wanted to start doing more with music in a way that didn't just satisfy myself. And I was starting to look into doing workshops in public places like schools and prisons and stuff like that. I didn't know how, but it occurred to me that I could actually funnel all my ideas into Pledge music and practice with people who were probably going to be more kindly inclined towards me than like a room full of kids or something. So part of the agreement that I have with my manager is we can do Pledge music, but I get to practice doing workshops on it. We can do lots of charity stuff because we used to work for WaterAid, but we didn't really have a big enough effect what we did. But this way, at least we could get someone to pledge money, and we could raise awareness through Pledge. And yeah, it just seemed like a nice way of funneling creative and charitable ideas. And obviously, like the idea of being able to make money from just being a band is sometimes it's a bit outlandish for a band. You know, really, we don't have to borrow the money from a record label or club it together from our publishing deals, or you know, work in a shop alongside what we do. It was just really freeing.
Cool. And how have you found it so far?
It's been all positive. Like, some of it I thought was going to be really awkward. Like, there are some standard pledges that are like, I don't know, come on tour with us for a day. Actually, we haven't done that one, so it might still be awkward. Or like, come to our rehearsal. And I was like, why would anybody buy that? But we just whacked it on because it's a standard pledge. And when the people came, this brother and sister, who were really cool, we thought, oh my god, this is really rude of us, we're just ignoring them rehearsing. And so I thought at that point it was going to be a bit of a fail for our pledge, but then we went out to dinner and we had a really nice dinner, so it's kind of like, sometimes it gets a bit, we don't really know how to fulfill this pledge, but then we always try and do something else, like go for a walk or go out to dinner and make it just a bit more like this. You know, you bought this. Yeah. So absolutely convinced that it wasn't worth what you bought it. I was just thinking of all the things that we could do to make it better, but yeah, just see what you think, and then if you complain, because like seriously, I suddenly realised I am not an artist. I really. But yeah, but the nice thing is you don't get a lot of jobs where some days you have to make a cover for a cassette.
Yeah, it's really nice as well. Thanks for that.
It's okay.
And how was the you've done one of the house party gigs or house living room thing?
That was brilliant. That was really, really fun.
Cool.
Yeah. Again, thought it was going to be weird because I got there. I've been throwing up for 2 days. I had like the stomach flu virus, and I was like feeling really like, ugh. And I thought, what if it's just one guy and me? And I had my friend with me, but it wasn't. It was a group of people, and they're all really nice, and that was good. But I have 4 more to do, and if any of them are one guy and me, it's going to be very freaky.
How long did it take you to record the new album?
We did 2 weeks of rehearsals, 3 days live tracking, and about 6 weeks. About 5 weeks of overdubs, and then a week of mixing, and we've got another week next month, and then that's it.
Cool. Is that mixing left to do as well?
Tweaks. It's all mixed. It sounds cool, but there's like a tiny few things, like obviously Ewan would like to take all the vocals off and turn the guitars up, and you know, I would like my voice to be louder on all of it, and we got all that squabbling to come.
What drives you to write music?
I don't know, like a sense of. I don't. Do you do art or anything like that? Or would you know?
I do. I've dabbled in theatre and I play guitar, but I'm not specifically not very good at it.
But I think it's probably the same thing that drives everyone. You want to hear something that you can hear but no one else can hear. But you want to show them something. Like I always talk about Yves Klein painting just blue paintings. And it's like, why would anyone just paint blue paintings? But obviously he could see that blue, and it was driving him mad that no one else could see it. And I think that's what it is. It's like, I really, really want people to know what I can see.
What's going on in your head?
Or just like like I might walk past something and for a second it's something different. You know, like that scene could all of a sudden in my head turn into like a forest scene, and I'd be like, I really want everyone to know what I just saw there, and then it would find its way into a song eventually.
Cool. What would you say are the themes of the album?
I'd say that they're kind of like not fairy tale protagonist, morality tale type thing. You know, in folk tales there's often a female protagonist who has to overcome something and maintain her virtue to get to the end. And a lot of it is very dark and Freudian. She's in the woods, there's a wolf, she's asleep and a man is coming to get her, or there's like the trees are overgrowing and she can't get out of her house. It's all these things, and it's more imaginary. It's all set in a different reality. But the funny thing is, these songs are more personal than my last one because I had such a weird experience while I was writing them. Because I was engaged from basically the moment I started writing it until about halfway through, after which I was not engaged. And so this album that I thought was going to be all imagination, it was so personal. It's crazy.
Speaking of it being so personal, what was it like working with producer Gareth Jones, who worked with people like Eurasia and Depeche Mode? And what was it like working with him?
It was amazing. We've never given over control like we did with Gareth. We established very early on that we trust him and his aesthetic is just spot on for us. And he was just in charge. Although we had 2 studios set up, and me and Gareth would be working on things like vocals and my guitars and just general ideas downstairs, and Ewan would be upstairs with his pedals and his guitars. So, I mean, I handed over complete control to Gareth, and in mixing we did, but Ewan directed a lot of what the album sounds like just by being alone with it. And me and Gareth realised that we really needed to let Ewan do his own thing because it sounds so amazing. Yeah.
Cool. Did he write any and record any songs that didn't make it on the album?
Yeah, thank you. I think a couple of them aren't going to make it on. I wrote a few that won't make it on. We wanted to keep it quite tight, so we only recorded 13. I know that 2 aren't going to make it, and we want to cut one more. I don't want to cut one more, but I understand for the sake of taste we should cut one more.
You've got names for those tracks that are going to make it?
Paper Forest isn't going to make it, and a song called Emily, which is a real shame. It doesn't fit thematically with the rest of the album, but it's about a friend of mine called Emily who passed away a couple of years ago, and I kind of wanted it to be on there just kind of like as a tribute, but it'll be used eventually.
That's cool. As long as it's somehow.
Well, I'm sure
gets out there.
Yeah. The act of having done something for her isn't.
Yeah. So you just did your Pledges Only gig for the London show last week. How was it performing your new material? Oh
my god, it was so fun. Yeah, I really can't wait to tour the actual new material. So we only did 3 or 4, I think, but I really can't wait to get back on the road with that.
And so the show went really well.
Yeah, it was so much fun. We haven't played since February, and we almost had lost the muscles. But then we got on stage and it was like, yay! Back in the game.
So no nerves at all?
No, none. It was quite a small gig though, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was like
it was lovely.
100 people or something.
You also performed for the student occupation at UCL?
Yeah.
How was that? And what are your views and what's going on?
I went I'm as vaguely informed as your average person on the street, and I am, because of like having limited information, I'm mainly on the side of the protesters, but I will admit that I don't know very much about it. But I did think these students have been holed up in this room, this freezing cold room, sleeping on the floor, trying their hardest, fighting for something they believe in, and it would be really nice if they had some entertainment. So I went specifically to entertain, and I had the most amazing time, and I thought they were so brilliant and so smart and so aware and so peaceful, and that's why it drives me mad that most of the newspapers are reporting like the actions of the crimes of the rioters, rather than the actions of the peaceful protesters, or probably the crimes of the police.
Yeah, because it's kind of drowning out the peaceful kind of process completely.
It's always like that though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's always the noisiest.
Makes more news.
The noisy minority drowns out the peaceful majority, always.
Yeah. You've still got the Hong Kong pledge only gig to go.
I'm not sure we're going to do it.
Are you?
Yeah, because there was like only 15 people, and we couldn't. Oh, that's okay. Doesn't mind. But yeah, the venues. We'd have to really book a venue for that, and so we've emailed them individually to be like, does anyone have a house we can go and do it in? But if not, then we'll just have to cancel it.
When you're over there, do you play any differently? Do you have a different kind of set you would normally play?
I've only ever done it solo there. I did one Chinese song, and I'm going to do more, I think. I'm really into a couple of cantopop artists. I just think they're amazingly tacky. I think it's so good. And I roll my eyes, but you know, they are millionaires with massive followings, so I mean the tackiness works.
As for tour plans in 2011, have you made the plans already? Do you know where you're going to play?
No, we won't really be able to do that until we've mastered, and once you've done that, it's like, phew, we can set the release date, and then I would hope that we'd be touring by April, and I would hope we'd be touring loads, but yeah, I hope we're going to do loads everywhere.
Is there anywhere you haven't gone yet but you really, really want to this time round?
We've never been to Scandinavia or Iceland, and I've never been to Australia, so I'd really like to go. I mean, like, I have a lot of Australian friends. Because did you see the stand-up who yeah, my best friend Dan? He's actually Australian, though he sounds American, and he lives with this Aussie music people. And it turns out one of his flatmates, Alex, who's hilarious, is actually massive in Australia. And it's really got me, like, I don't know, just used to the accent. And I always feel a bit weird when I haven't heard an Australian accent for a while.
Final question. What's on your Christmas list?
I have no idea. What's on yours?
I don't really have one. I don't really think much about presents or Christmas family thing, I guess.
Well, because we're going to Hong Kong, my family's meeting in Hong Kong, that's where my parents live now. We don't do presents, we just buy one and then we do a lottery.
Oh, that's cool.
I haven't actually bought my thing of those. I might have to get it today. Just bring vitamin water or something. I'll just bring them this. Put it in my pocket.
Cool.
I think this is him.
Thanks very much for the interview.
No, thank you. Thanks very much.
Awesome.